Developing a sustainable safety culture ultimately can have the greatest impact on your insurance pricing, but it is also the most difficult to implement. Let's not forget that when we talk about safety culture, the most important result is the safety of your employees. They get to return home each night, be a good mother, father, return to work the next day, accomplish their job because they did not get hurt on the job. That is the most important thing about safety. But as your narrative changes, as the story changes, and we present that to the insurance company underwriter, the pricing of insurance reduces. But the most important result is the safety of your employees. Rather than try to describe to you a sustainable safety culture, let me tell you in a story of something that actually happened that will help you understand exactly what we're talking about. A couple of years ago, I drove up on my bicycle. I was exercising, and I came to a house where a large flatbed truck had just arrived with a load of roofing materials. And so I stopped, and I was amazed in this neighborhood that the large truck was there. And so I got out, and as I watched the two employees of the business climbed out of the truck, picked up a ladder, one of them put a remote control around his neck. They climbed up on the roof, and I'm thinking, well, what's going on? Well, they started the truck by the remote control. They extended these stabilizing arms out, and for the next 30 minutes, they unloaded this truck with a forklift and a hoist. The employer had spent a ton of money on this vehicle, so they didn't have to touch one piece of roofing material. In other words, their safety was important to this business owner. Well, I grabbed my iPhone and quickly started taking some pictures and videos. One of the employees got off the roof, came down to me and said, "Are you taking some pictures and videos?" I go, "Yes." Is that okay? He said, "Well, don't post them online because if my boss sees me not tied off, I'll get fired." So here we had employees that knew the safety. The guy had the proper equipment. They knew the consequences. They'd been trained and taught about it, but the culture of the company did not support the safety. That company does not have a sustainable safety culture. Quite often when we engage with businesses, we find out that their culture is one of reactive nature or compliant. We only do what we have to, or we want to do what OSHA requires, what we have to do to be on a job site. Don't get me wrong, that's good that they're doing anything, but the amount of money they're leaving on the insurance premium table is tremendous. And so as we find businesses that have cultures less than a sustainable safety culture, we love to work with them because we know that we can save them a significant amount of money. You as a business owner need to understand what culture you have. We have a tool, there are other tools out there that can be used to measure and let you know what your safety culture is currently. The value of that is to help you understand where we need to go, get everyone on the same page, help you understand where we're at, where we want to go, and how we're going to get there. Another story to maybe demonstrate what a sustainable safety culture looks like is one that I heard from one of my clients. Before they leave the shop each day, the employees have a safety meeting within the warehouse, so they gather all the equipment and tools they're going to need. And as that was occurring, one of the employees on a crew says to his supervisor, "Hey, see that guy that just came in the office? Does he work here?" And the supervisor says, "Well, I don't know, let me go check." And so he goes up and checks and finds out that he was applying for a job. Well, the employee said, "Look, I worked with him at another place. If he gets hired, don't have him on our crew because at the previous place where I worked with him, he caused a lot of accidents and his work was terrible." How about that for an ownership? There's an employee that felt empowered and had the freedom to express the importance of safety within their company. That's a sustainable safety culture where employees take ownership in each other's safety. We had another story where a homeowner, one of our clients, was working at a home, putting a concrete pad in the back pasture, and the homeowner came out to see what was going on. One of the employees says to the homeowner, not knowing who he was, "Excuse me, sir, if you're going to be out here, you have to have safety glasses on and a safety vest." How about that? Isn't that what you want your employees to do? That's a sustainable safety culture. And when we can communicate those efforts that you have done as a business owner to the underwriter and explain to them the changes you have made within your company, the pricing of insurance is affected dramatically. Quite often we hear business owners talk about all the efforts they're doing within their company to save money on preventing claims, all the training that occurs, all the regulations, they even have incentives. And then we hear from them the stories, the fact that we do all this and we keep having claims, even in the areas that we train on. And the thing that we try to express to them is the fact that more training does not mean better culture. More rules, more threats does not mean better culture. Culture is changed in a unique fashion. And as a business owner, you can get that done on your own, but it is very difficult. Get better communication, get better accountability, develop safety standards within your company that will help ultimately change that culture. We've identified multiple things that we can help our clients implement that will change their safety culture. Once management has buy-in and has determined that it's worth their time and energy to make the change, the process is not complicated. Trying to identify what your current culture is, whether it's through a survey, whether it's through asking the questions, quite often we find business owners already know what their safety culture is. Once they've identified that, set some goals of what you want to change, what you would like to become, and then ultimately implement things that will change that culture within your company. Developing a sustainable safety culture can have the greatest impact on the overall pricing of your insurance. But the most benefit that we receive from changing your culture is the safety of your employees, and let's not lose track of that. When you develop a safety culture, you will find that that investment that you make will have a great return, not only on the safety of your employees, but also on the lowering of the insurance cost.